about is Martina the Beautiful Cockroach. And I have to say that I was a little skeptical about this story because it had that word cockroach in it. I was a little, I don't know if I want to read that story. Maybe we should just skip over that one. But then there was a little saying in this story that I loved that was repeated throughout. Can you say it? Because I know you'll say it with a perfect accent. How does it go?
Martina, Josefina, Carolina.
And then there's something after it.
Cucaracha.
Cucaracha, right. Beautiful muchacha, right? Okay, so what happens at the beginning of the story? What is the problem that Martina has? Yes.
That in 198 it says her grandmother wanted her to find a husband.
Her grandmother wants her to find a husband. Okay, and so what is grandmother's advice?
To if it says it's right here, how will spilling coffee on the suitor's shoe help? This what Martina said. How will spilling coffee on a suitor's shoes help me find a good husband?
Okay, what was the coffee spilling thing all about?
It says on page 198, it'll make him angry. Then you will know how he will speak to you when he loses his temper.
Exactly. Okay, so Grandma thought it would be a good idea to do the coffee test for what reason? Tell me in your own words. In your own words.
To find out how he talks to her when he loses his temper.
Right, to find out how he's going to treat her, talk to her when he loses his tempers. All right, what I want you to do, and you know how the story progresses, right? There are how many people that she does the coffee test to? How many people in the story? Yes. 3. Yeah, well there are 3, and then there's somebody else, right? There's somebody else. The mouse, right. Okay, all right. What we're going to do is I'm going to give you 3 questions about the text, and I want you to think of what your answer is to the questions. Just jot it down. You're not doing a whole long answer. You're just jotting down what your answer is and text evidence to support what you said. Okay? All right, so here's the first question. For each of the suitors, or the first 3 that she did the coffee test to, what advice would you give them? All right, the second question is, what might have happened if Martina had not taken her grandmother's advice? What if she didn't do the coffee test? Okay, I know y'all know you're gonna write your answer down and then support it with text evidence. Okay? Wow, you're gonna have some great answers. I know it. And then number 3, this is the biggie. This is the big question. Was the coffee test good advice? And you have to provide evidence from the text to support your answer. Did Grandma really give good advice? Okay, what we're going to do now, we've done this one time before, Socratic Seminar, and that means that we're going to talk about the questions and talk about the text evidence that you found so that we can all get ideas so that when you go back to write, you'll have even more text evidence to support your point. It's kind of like sharing ideas before you actually go to write, and it's a way to help us all think more deeply about the text. Okay, so here are the rules for Socratic Seminar right up here next to Justin. When it's your turn to speak, you're going to speak loudly and to your classmates. The second rule is what? Craig, would you read that?
Listen carefully.
Listen carefully, because if you want to piggyback someone and say, I agree with her. Remember how we did that? I agree with her, but I would like to add. Okay, so listen carefully. The next The next point, next check mark. Messiah, would you read that? No need.
No need to raise your hand, but don't interrupt.
Right, you don't have to raise your hand once we start the discussion, but don't interrupt someone if they're talking. Okay, the next one, would you read it?
Use text evidence.
Use text evidence, and I can see that you're good at that. You're really good at that. Okay, would you read the next one?
Ask questions for
Clarification, that's a hard word for a third grader. And all that means is if somebody says something and you're not sure what they mean by that, say, could you please explain that a little more? Could you tell me what you mean by that? And then the very last one, most important one. Go ahead, Angelina.
Respect your classmates and give positive feedback.
Yes. Respect your classmates and give positive feedback. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start with the first question, which was, what advice would you give each suitor? Okay, let's see. What kind of advice would you give the rooster? What would you tell him?
I would say do the coffee.
Say what?
Do the coffee test. See how angry she gets.
Oh, give her the coffee test. See how she likes it. Oh, okay.
Calm down. Take anger management classes.
Take anger management classes based on what?
Look. Good job, Jacob.
That's a good job.
He looks so angry in the illustration.
In the illustration, and that's right. He looks pretty angry. Is there anything in the text, the words, that tell you that too?
The rooster was furious. Clumsy cockroach, I will teach you better manners when you're my wife.
Ooh, okay, so your advice was?
Just chill out.
In anger management classes. Very good advice. Ah, okay, so maybe they were in cahoots. The two grandmothers were talking to each other.
Probably. I'm inferring that.
You're inferring that. Wow. Yeah.
Good job. Rooster, stop bragging because you're fabulous. Rooster thinks he's fabulous because in the text it says, I would look even more fabulous than you underline. This proves why the rooster is bragging.
He's bragging, so your advice to him would be what?
Stop bragging because you're fabulous.
Stop bragging, and maybe you'll get a wife then, right? Okay, let's go on to the pig. What kind of advice would you give to the pig?
He needs to take a bath.
He needs to take a bath. Based on what? Show me where in the text.
Because right here it says he stinks.
It says he stinks in the text. So your advice is to take a bath and then maybe you can have a wife.
Stop taking so many mud baths.
Stop taking so many mud baths. Okay. All right. And the last one, the lizard.
I would say that he's too creepy. I'll say he's too scary.
He's too creepy. Where in the text do you find that?
On page 207, he says, I don't sneak, I creep.
He said what?
On page 207, he said, I don't sneak, I creep.
Okay, and what's your advice?
That I think that that he liked to creep on too much.
Okay.
Be truthful, because in Texas said, and to think he hears I was going to eat or marry you.
Ah, Jacob said that he needs to be truthful. He needs to tell the truth because that lie got him into trouble. All right, the second question was what might have happened if Martina didn't take her grandmother's advice?
She wouldn't know how he would know when he gets mad.
She wouldn't know how he talked to her when he got mad. Yes, Casey?
If Martina had not taken her grandmother's advice, she would have a bad husband and he would have a bad attitude.
She would have a bad husband, he'd have a bad attitude, yes.
If Martina had not taken her advice, she would have picked the wrong husband. It says in the text, it says this, and to think I was going to eat or marry you.
Yeah, and to think I was going to marry you. Right. So she would have picked the wrong one. Okay, now the big question is, was it wise for Martina to take her grandmother's advice? Okay, we're going to camp out on this question for a little while, and I want to hear from you. Do you think it was wise for Martina to take her grandmother's advice? What do you think? Was it wise for her to take her grandmother's advice? You say yes? Why?
Because she was going to get hurt if she didn't.
She would have gotten hurt if she didn't? Or killed. Where in the text tells you that she might have gotten killed?
The lizard
The lizard.
was going to eat her.
The lizard was going to eat her. Okay, Craig?
Yes, I think it was a good idea to take her advice because she would have ended up with either rooster, pig, or lizard.
He said she would have ended up with the pig, the lizard, or the rooster. So what would you like to add to that?
That she would not like none of them because the rooster was cocky and the pig was stinky and the lizard was too creepy.
She wouldn't have liked any of them, right? Okay, let's piggyback that. Angelina, I think, wants to add to your comment.
For the pig, he said, there will be no cleaning up after me.
Okay.
Because he was too stinky and Martina had to clean up after him all day long, every day.
So do you think it was wise for her to take her grandmother's advice? You
Yes,
think
ma'am.
so she wouldn't have to clean up after the pig. Tell me about who she ended up with.
The mice.
Okay, why is it good that she ended up with him?
Because he was nice. He tried to concentrate on her and she didn't lose her temper.
Right. Okay, look in the text and see if you can tell anything about this. Yes, you can just jump right in there. You don't have to raise your hand.
She said on page 111 that his voice was like warm honey, and she said that that he was adorable.
Oh, okay, on page 210. Oh, abuela, he's adorable. So you think she's pretty happy with him? Yes.
Look at the illustration on this. Look at it.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Oh, Jacob noticed something in the illustration. Would you please share that again with everybody?
Look at her antennas. They make a heart.
Oh, I think she's in love. I think she's in love. Her little antennas made a heart. That's so sweet.